haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, had to lead that.
Yeah, I still remember how to count backwards. It's
I mean, you were a little shaky, I gotta say. I could see you sweating. You were like trying to remember what came before.
It's like 3-1. No, damn it.
But you nailed it. Nice work.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
That must be Jeremiah with them.
That train is off the tracks.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to... just prepare to be awash in undebeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You are listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast.
It's summer. Leave it alone.
Proof that I will also read whatever is put in front of me. Today is July 23rd, and this is episode 658. I'm your host today, John Harper, the Enforcer, hailing from Boise, Idaho. Joining me is one of our excellent hosts from Asheville, North Carolina, our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks and the crappy jingles, Jonathan Coles.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Harper? Shout out this week to soccer, or in Europe, as they call it, football. Jason went home to Indiana to play soccer with Joey and apparently scored the first 2 goals of the game and was just a all-around badass. I last week went to Chapel Hill to see Chelsea play Wrexham in a friendly. And Women's World Cup.
Women's World Cup.
It's fantastic. Unfortunately, most of the games don't play while my bar is open, but Friday night they came on at 9 o'clock and we were packed for it. So shout out soccer/football.
Football. And just an update there. The women's team did win their first group match. I think the final was 3-0 over
3-0.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
It should have been 8.
Yeah, people are a little concerned that they didn't beat up harder on Vietnam, but
yeah,
they it was like a mercy kill.
Yeah, they haven't looked super sharp their last couple games, so hopefully, I believe their next match is going to be against a tougher opponent. I believe the Netherlands, so they will have the work cut out for them there.
And it'll be like 3 a.m, so
that's what the DVR is for.
Helps me not at all.
Well, this show, I think we're just going to jibber jabber, man.
Yeah.
I haven't done this in seemingly months. I haven't even done a show since the draft. That's how long it's been. Yeah. So thank you guys for doing shows and keeping the world informed of what's going on.
I mean, Joey, Jason, and I said a lot of intelligent things while you weren't here. But I have been thinking about this.
There's no way to prove that.
I mean, you definitely can't go back and listen to the tape. But no, I think that I've missed you. You've been, out of the country for a while. We haven't gotten to catch up, and I'm curious about your feelings about the draft. I'm curious about your feelings about our off-season moves and where you think this team is going and how it stacks up in the East. And this is the kind of phone call I would make to you on a late night, and we're just going to record it.
As we do.
Yeah.
Well, draft night was pretty exciting, really, and a shocking move. The Spurs took Victor Wembanyama overall number 1. Yeah.
Wait. I think I slept through it. I missed it. Huge news.
Yeah, well, in a literal sense, yes, the man is a giant. So
they've settled on 7-5. Is that what they've settled on?
I keep seeing 7'4". He's growing an inch a day, probably. So
Okay.
it's, don't measure him again at the beginning of the season. He'll be 7'7".
I saw him in a picture next to David Robinson, and he was at least like a foot taller than him.
He looks a foot taller than David Robinson. He really does. He is so massive. Bizarre. Pacers at number 7 threw me off for a second by drafting Bilal Coulibaly, who is one of Victor Wembanyama's teammates at the Mets 92. But that pick was ultimately traded to the Wizards for Jarris Walker, who is our guy, in a trade I don't understand at all.
Well, so I'm pretty sure, I think the Wizards just telegraphed their pick, and so we were like, all right, we'll just take your guy, and then you have to give us draft picks to get your guy back. I think that's what happened.
Well, not only that, but money too.
Yeah.
You have to pay these guys based upon where you draft these guys.
We got a second round draft pick, I think, right?
Yep.
And you're right.
And we get to pay our guy less.
Yeah, and we do. It worked out great for us considerably. What's going on in Washington?
Just nothing good out there, man. Well, I was so confused. I was like, dude, we're not taking Bilal Coulibaly. I knew we were taking Jarris Walker. It's not that surprising on some level.
Well, did you think for a second? Because I thought for a second maybe we were doing this in some sort of weird attempt to get Wembanyama in 7 years after his contract was up or something.
I mean, it had occurred to me that, we thought we could get Jarris Walker lower in the draft. But
we had a trade up somehow or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think we would have been pretty happy with either Walker or Hendricks.
Right.
And so we could have traded down. And, maybe the Jazz really wanted Coulibaly, right? I mean, he is an exciting guy. And I was, at one point, it looked like he might fall late into the first round. I was like, dude, if we could take a flyer on this guy late in the first round, that'd be amazing. But, of course, his draft stock just skyrocketed in the last 3 weeks and ended up getting nowhere near there. But, Jarris Walker, super high motor, tough kid, big body. He's going to fit in great and help create that culture of defense that we need with his very, very excellent motor. Reasonably good playmaker, not an offensive guy. He's got some holes in his game. He has a ceiling, but he's going to be an exciting guy.
I think I agree with you. He has a ceiling, but tough nose for the ball. And I think passing is one of his great gifts. I think he sees the floor really well, especially for a big man. And I'm excited about this guy. I don't think he's going to walk on and be our starting power forward, but I think that's what this team, what he provides at the power forward spot, which is defense, rebounding, and unselfishness, is the kind of thing that this team needs. And as we talk further into what next season's going to look like, I think this is a brilliant pickup. He's the guy that I had kind of keyed on early, but seeing him in summer league, he's better than I thought he was. I mean, he just looks like a professional basketball player already.
Yeah, I mean, on draft day, he would have been if our roster had stayed what it was, he would have been our starting four, almost certainly.
Yeah.
I was more in the Cam Whitmore.
Okay.
Taylor Hendricks camp.
Okay. More offense. Going
just a little bit more
smaller.
offense, maybe a little bit higher ceiling. Unclear why Whitmore fell so far, but by the time we were at 15, 16, I was like, I was kind of wishing we had a couple picks that we could trade up, but we had already used those to trade up for next year's draft pick. So we didn't really have room to move. The other guy that I thought we might take a flyer on late was Bryce Sensabaugh. I like that kid a lot. Jazz get him at 28, 2 picks behind us. we'll see. It's going to be the Ben Shepherd versus Bryce Sensabaugh watch for the next couple of years, and hopefully we pick the right one.
Yeah, so the Ben Shepherd pickup, everybody seemed to say it was kind of a reach, like he was probably going to be early second round, and we just went after him. It seems like our scouts and our guys they keyed on him and they liked him, they wanted him, and we, as you'd said, we'd moved a lot of those. We had a couple late first rounds and early second rounds that we had moved, and so we just only had one late first round pick left. And we went after him. Was this a guy that maybe we had beginning of the second round and we're just like, we can't miss him? Like, is he that guy? I mean, he's got size and he's a shooter.
I mean, so is Bryce Sensabaugh, but maybe just a little bit, just maybe a little bit more resume. And having played at Ohio State, just a little bit better competition than a guy playing at Belmont. But I trust our scouting guys. Obviously, we were very high on them, and we reached for him. So we must have liked what we saw.
So he, in summer league, struggled in his first game. Of course, he's playing with 3 starters from last year's Pacer team. Essentially, I mean, Matherin came off the bench, but essentially. A rotational player in the NBA, along with Nembhard and Isaiah Jackson. All these guys, played a ton of minutes for us. And then Jarris Walker, as we said, just seems like he's ready for the pros. And so Shepherd didn't look great. He only got up like 4 shots and missed them all, I think, something like that. Had 1 point. And but as the summer league went along, ended up shooting like 39% from the range. Looked like he had the size and the foot speed to, be competitive on defense, which is, what you want from your, young guys is an ability or at least a desire to play defense and an ability and desire to shoot. And, he has both those things. So, yeah, I mean, whether other people end up having better careers than him, sure, but it seems like a good pickup, and I'm excited for the kid.
Yeah, I mean, he was a very efficient scorer in college. I'm sure that we liked that.
But he's also 22, and
he's 22, and that's the thing. Bryce is 20, and as a starter at a Big Ten school, 18 points, 5.7 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 50, 40, 80. I mean. Yeah, I don't know. It's just tough for me to pass on going that way.
We're gonna have to keep a tally going for their careers on this one.
Yep.
Might have been a swing and a miss. Same thing I still do with Draymond.
Yeah,
still mad.
Still mad. I don't know. Some days it's easier than others.
That's true. That is true. I don't have any of my guys hitting each other in the locker room, as far as I know.
You do not.
Yeah.
Or at least they have enough common sense not to
record it.
Yeah. And then we picked up 2 other guys who I have no film on whatsoever. So,
is that Isaiah Wong? Did we pick up that guy?
Yep, we sure did.
And we already signed him to a 2-way contract, so he's going to be on the team, largely playing for the Mad Ants, but he's one of our 17 basketball players. And I don't know who the other guy is. Never heard of him.
Mojave King.
Oh yeah.
47th over round. Your boy.
Boy.
I think you wanted us to take him in the lottery, but we finally
right.
talked you out of that one.
That's right. Mojave King goes. He is the patriarch to Trevelyan Queen. So the 2 of them are going to reign over the Pacers, ideally in a prosperous and peaceful time.
Well, so, we've got 2 guys that we think, one guy's going to be or would have been projected to be a starter on day 1. Another guy that we could build on, hopefully turn into a rotation player, Ben Shepherd. And then the Pacers acquired a couple other guys, one through free agency and one through a trade. We can start with Mr. Obi Toppin.
Okay.
Who we got for nothing from the Knicks.
Nothing. We gave up 2 second-round draft
Two
picks.
second rounders.
Yeah, that's it.
I
And
mean,
we got a rotation guy, if not a starter.
I mean, maybe a starter for us, at least a start. I mean, big, huge hops, underperforming in New York, got more potential than he showed there. I don't know why there weren't higher bidders than us, but I will take it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like this is one of those situations where a guy just wasn't seeing a lot of minutes, and when he saw minutes, he produced, but you got Julius Randle in front of you in the rotation, and you're only getting, a handful of minutes a game, and you're struggling to produce with those small minutes. What was it, 12 minutes a game or something like that? Mm-hmm. And so, this guy could be great. I mean, he dropped 34 on us in the last game of the season when they were resting Randall. He's got the size. He's got the, yeah, you're right. The hops. He can score. I think the concern about him is whether he's going to bring the defense that was, sort of our off-season goal. What Carlisle said to every one of these guys is, health and defense are the reasons we didn't make the playoffs. So, if we stay healthy and we play defense, we're a playoff team. And it remains to be seen whether Obi Toppin is... I think he's capable of it. I think he has the body for it. He just has to sign on and agree to it. But if you're not doing that for the Knicks, are you going to do it for Rick Carlisle?
Well, I mean, we got a guy who we think is, potentially, a standout defensive player at our 4 already. So I don't think we're super concerned about that part of it. We know what Obi Toppin does super well is get out and transition and finish. And with, one of the best up and down teams, highest paced, excellent point guards and, break runners in the league, Obi Toppin is going to have plenty of success with us. Whether he can, maintain starter minutes with the defense that he plays, that is another question. But whether or not he'll be productive, I think it's a foregone conclusion. I think he's going to crush.
Just because he's going to run and dunk free. And,
yeah. He plays above the rim and we got guys who know how to find him.
Right. Yeah, no, we just have a ton of passers in our backcourt. We just do. And so just stay open and stay ready.
Yeah, absolutely. He's gonna have some fun. More fun than he was having in New York.
For sure. They don't do a lot of running in New York.
No, not even a lot of minutes in New York.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what about the free agent signing, Harper? How do you feel about Bruce Brown coming to the Pacers?
Again, just a solid, pickup from the team here. We structured his contract right because, we've got a good front office, and so we front loaded it because we got all kinds of money we can burn here early. If it's something that doesn't work out for us in the long run and he doesn't turn into the player that we think he can be, then we've got a pretty easy way to get out of that or restructure it if it's great, right?
So we
nickname
gave him,
Cowboy Bruce. So I don't.
Cowboy Bruce.
Yeah,
so we gave him $45 million for 2 years, but the second year is a team option. Is that what's going on? Or at least it's only 2 years. Or the second year is only partially guaranteed, something like that.
Yeah, club option.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you're right. If it's not working, see ya.
Just don't exercise it, or you can renegotiate with them and
right.
call it good. But he looked good. We know he can play some defense.
And he moves the ball, and he can hit an open jumper, and he has a nose for the ball. I mean, this is a perfect glue guy. He helped, the Nuggets win a championship, and I'm thrilled by this pickup. This is as exciting for me. I think my two favorite Pacer like signings of all time were David West and Byron Scott. And I'm as excited about this as those two. Like that's I feel like he's that kind of guy. He's going to bring in culture. He's going to bring in cohesiveness. He's going to bring in, a championship attitude. Like I think he's on level of those two guys. That's going to transform this team. I am that excited about this guy.
Well, that is some high praise. I'm not sure I'm that optimistic. I'm not sure I'm David West optimistic, but I hope you're right. I hope this kid is all of those things. I hope he's captain.
Right? Why not? Well, I mean, I think probably Halliburton might have something to say about that, and also Miles Turner. But
Miles Turner has nothing to say about that.
Come on, he's our longest tenured Pacer. He's got to be captain, and he and Halliburton are captains, right?
Being there the longest doesn't make you the captain.
Is George Hill coming back? He could be captain, probably.
Yeah, no, I would also not co-sign that one.
I don't know if we're gonna have room for him. I think he'd like to come back if we had room for him, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Because we picked up a couple, like 4 guys in the draft.
Right. I mean, now we have Bruce Brown and Ben Shepherd, and I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you doing with George Hill at that point?
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, so how are you foreseeing this lineup moving forward? I mean, I know that there's going to be training camp where these guys are going to fight it out for positions. Do you have sort of a thought on a 8-man road, a 10-man road, who you think is going to be starting based on the guys on this team right now? I mean, what do you think?
Well, I certainly think that they're going to let these guys figure it out in camp. So I think everybody is going to have a fair shot at, getting a starting nod. But that being said, I think Mathurin starts this year.
Do you? You think it's time?
I think it's probably time. I don't. He was playing starter quality minutes most of last year.
He was, but we designed an entire offense around him off the bench, right? Like a Halliburton offense is very different than a Mathurin offense, right? Matherin's much more ISO heavy, get to the free throw line, a lot of step backs and stuff. Halliburton's offense is much more free flowing. Everybody's moving around. I mean, we had Nimhard starting at 2, so that there was even more passing, and Buddy Hield running off 1 million picks. We went really small and had Naismith or a Wara down at the 4. I just wonder if does Mathurin starting slow that down or screw that up. You just said we're going to be really fast and we're going to have Obi Toppin who can run, and does Mathurin just have to learn to be a part of that, or is he allowed to kind of slow this down and make it a little bit more ISO heavy?
I mean, he either has to learn to become a part of it, or he's going to find his ceiling very fast with this team as a bench player, right? I mean, there's just Tyrese ain't going anywhere, right?
No,
Tyrese is 1A.
We just gave him the bag.
Yeah.
He's going to get paid $50 million a year for us for 5 years.
Yeah.
So you got to play the way he wants to play, or I guess you're right. You can be a main guy off the bench if you like, and that's your ceiling.
But I don't think that's where he wants to be, right? So he's going to have to start adjusting, his game to the team game. He's proven that he can play with NBA starters in terms of, competition. So
sure. He's relentless at the basket, and he can finish around, adults. And that's really useful all the time. I mean, his free throw, attempts are near the top of the league, and he was a rookie last year. So that's a great asset to have, as long as that doesn't, as long as that becomes a part of the offense instead of disrupts it. I'm with you. I'm ready for Mathurin to start as well. I think it'll just be interesting. I think there'll be some kinks to iron out as that moves forward. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I mean his playmaking is a work in progress. There's no two
It
ways
definitely
about
is.
that.
Right,
But
for sure.
he's our second best young player, and in order for us to develop him, we need him playing against the best competition, 30 minutes a night.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I am confident that because of the kind of player that he is, that he will find his way there. I don't know if he starts on day one, but I'd hesitate to keep him on the bench too much longer and expect happiness from the guy.
For sure. Also, I didn't read the article, but I vaguely heard that he was calling out LeBron for being washed or whatever. That's cool. It's good to poke the bear.
Probably. Yeah. Apparently, him and Jamal Murray know each other too. So he was giving us some flack at a presser that they were both at during the playoffs, which was pretty good television.
Nice.
Apparently, at least according to Benedict Mathurin, he won a one-on game against Jamal Murray. It might be that Jamal remembers that slightly differently.
Well, the kid doesn't lack confidence, and it doesn't lack skill. So, and his 3-point shooting went down as the season went on, but it's also a really long season for a rookie. So I assume that will kind of stay closer to where he was at the beginning of the season, ideally next season.
And one would think that he's going to benefit from some spacing in the starting lineup. It may be that Buddy Hield is still out there, right?
Yeah. What do you think about this? Do we start Buddy Hield at 3, or we just paid Bruce Brown. We just paid Bruce Brown starter money.
Yeah.
And coach
but he
gets
can
to do
stretch
whatever
the
he
floor as
wants.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's likely your.
But he's not Buddy Hield good. Buddy Hield had the most 3-pointers in the league last year.
True.
Bruce Brown's not that.
True. That's a position where I think they're finding out. On some level, we were a little surprised that Buddy Hield started all of last year, pretty much.
Yeah,
right?
until
When he
like
was
the
healthy.
last couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was to me, Mathurin has the size to play 3. Right. He's got the size and the body to play 3 if he needs to.
Sure.
Especially
So
given the way that we run the court.
Well, you could do Hield at 2 and Mathurin at 3. You could do Bruce Brown at 2.
I think you're probably Brown at 2 and Mathurin at 3 is probably where you're at.
Brown is smaller as far as stature. He's only 6'4", but he's also beefy and plays He plays bigger than he is. They've played him in the NBA at 4, and in fact, the Brooklyn Nets played him at 5. The guy.
Yeah, he'll body up.
Yeah. So he can kind of play 5 positions and guard 5 positions. So it doesn't really matter where you put him, I suppose. But yeah, I suppose if Brown and Mathurin are starting, it doesn't really matter if it's 1 or 2 or 2 or 3. Right?
No, not really.
Yeah.
And it would be my best guess that, even though, I suppose Hield's probably making the same money as Brown is, but I would expect Brown and Mathurin to win out those spots. That would be my best guess.
Yeah, Hield's making, like 20 mil as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brown is our highest paid player this season. He's making $22.5 million, and I think Hield's making 20, 21, something like that. But the following
Hield had that weird reverse. He
did?
Yeah, he had that declining contract, so he's
nice.
under 19 again.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, that's not nothing, obviously.
Oh, sure.
But
yeah.
At least he's not your highest paid player.
Right. Not anymore. And then, of course, the following season, it will be Halliburton as his extension kicks in. So
correct. For quite some time, he will be our highest paid player.
Yes, for sure. And then no one's questioning that Miles Turner is your starting 5. And
except Isaiah Jackson, maybe.
Yeah, he's not going to win that one.
No, he won't.
No. What about our 4? what are we doing there? We just brought in Toppin. Like I said, Bruce Brown can play it. Last year we did Wara and Neesmith down there. Jalen Smith started the season last year and then just kind of got tossed to the wayside because he couldn't shoot anymore or play defense or rebound. It was really
Other
kind of
than
sad
that, he was slotted in perfectly.
It was a tough season for Jalen. I love that guy. I'm a big fan, but I don't know if he's long for this the future of this team unless he brings something different to the the table this season.
Yeah, I would not. I mean, he was always a questionable scheme fit for us.
Yeah. Well, he could hit a three, and we were like, okay, he can hit a three and he can rebound. That's what we're looking for. Jarris Walker can't really hit a reliable three right now, but he's basically everything you want from that position outside of that,
I mean, he's not a scorer.
No. But do you need him to score?
I mean,
on
that
this
is
team?
like half of the game. So you can't say he's everything that you want out of that position. He's a plus defender.
He's a plus defender, and he's a plus passer, that
may be the end of the list for now.
Well, no, but he's also a big body, and I think that, and that's part of defense, I know, and he's a good rebounder. I think that, I mean, he doesn't have an offensive game really right now, but there's so much. Halliburton's going to make his life easy for scoring, right? It's just going to be wide open dunks. It's just going to be lob passes, right? We're not going to put ISOs for him in the post. That's not what our offense needs out of that 4 position right now,
I mean, that's true, but what you'd really like is just, somebody who you never got to draw a play up for and, sucks up the glass and turns that into points. And he's
Don't
not
you think that's who Walker is?
He's not a very strong
rookie.
finisher around
He's
the rim.
He's a rookie.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the body for it. I think he'll improve, but I don't think it was really on the film in college. I think he's a better shooter than his numbers maybe looked at Houston. He's a reasonably good free throw shooter. His 3-point form is certainly not perfect, but it's not ugly, right?
Right. He's gonna turn into somebody who can hit a corner three.
I mean, yeah, I think that will improve a lot. The attention that he's given to his playmaking and defense have paid off brilliantly, and he's in the NBA, so it's hard to argue with what he's been doing. I'm excited to see that on the floor. I hope that the rest of it comes along, but if not, he's still a player for us. I mean, I think that position is the real question mark. But as with adding all this depth, what it does is it gives Rick Carlisle a lot of freedom, right? He's going to have nights where he wants to run the floor and push the pace, and Obi Toppin's going to slot well. He's going to have nights where he's got a 4 that he's got to stop, and he can throw Walker out there.
Or he's got to play 2 huge dudes, and he can throw Isaiah Jackson next to Miles Turner at the 4 or whatever.
Or he can throw him at the 3. Jackson can play 3.
That's true. I guess for me, I'm looking at this roster and going, there's a couple things that are going to happen. Nembhard and TJ McConnell are going to have to fight out for backup point guard minutes. And there's not going to be a lot of them because we're going to play Halliburton all the time. You've got Buddy Hield / Nembhard / maybe Mathurin and maybe Bruce
and
Brown.
Neesmith is kind of in the mix there too because
And
he's going to need 2 and 3 minutes to get to anything.
Yeah,
and he had a really good season last year.
He was great for us. Yeah, exactly. And so it's those guys are going to be fighting for the 2-3 minutes. And then, Nora's going to be fighting for the 3-4 minutes. And he had I thought once he traded to us, played really well.
Oh, yeah.
And, you've got a bunch of guys. You got a bunch of talent. And what you want when you're a young team developing is these guys that you rooted for that weren't, getting you to the playoffs either improving or you brought in talent that's better than them so your team gets better, right? And that's kind of where we are. I hope all our guys improved and they're fighting with the guys that we brought in for these minutes. But I think it's going to be especially an interesting first third of the season as we figure out what our rotation is and what our best team is on the floor.
Yeah, I think Carlisle's going to have a lot of fun with this.
He's going to have more fun than I am. I'm stressed out about it. This is keeping me up at night.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what I want out of this. You know, I want to. I like all these guys and I want to root for all these guys. And you know, the moment I set on a lineup, I go, oh, but I really like that guy. Can he see some minutes? You just got to prove it on the floor, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's how the game works, to be sure. And adding all the depth that we did it may keep you up at night, but it's certainly a good problem to have.
It is. Now, we don't have a ton of elite talent. I mean, I think Jason made a point on the pod a couple weeks ago that he concerned about a big off-season pickup because he didn't want the hierarchy of the team to change. He wanted this to be very clearly Halliburton's team, and he didn't want to bring in another alpha. He wanted Halliburton to kind of run this thing and be at the top of the pecking order before we brought in other, he needed a couple years to be clearly the 1A guy before we brought in maybe another big ego or another big talent. I think we did a great job of kind of answering Jason's call, which is we brought in really talented guys in Toppin and Bruce Brown, but they're not superstars, you know. They're guys that are going to fit a role. So, I don't know. You can bring in a superstar in a couple years after we've got it all figured out?
Sure you can. All the free agent superstars clamoring to get to Indianapolis.
Well, I mean,
that's like a very nice way of thinking about the fact that we can't draw free agents. Like there was no chance that we were signing a superstar.
No, but there's a chance
James Harden, in which case you would just pass.
I would pass. But there's still rumblings right now that we might trade for Pascal Siakam. You know, that guy's won a championship. He's an all-star.
He's not the leader of his own team right now.
Well, I mean, he was until he wasn't after. Well, I don't know.
He was in the offseason after they traded away
Van
the guy
Vliet?
who was leading the team. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But that's the kind of thing that might be questionable on this team for chemistry-wise. But, I mean, we'd figure it out. Halliburton figures everything out. He's the right dude. We're very lucky that this happened.
Absolutely. I would happily take another superstar on the team and not worry about it a bit. I think Halliburton would be fine and figure it out. I have all kinds of faith in him.
Fair enough. All right. Well, you got a bunch of guys to trade if you want to.
Yeah, and plenty of cap space to play with too.
Yep.
So
still have it.
Let's just call up Pop, get Wembanyama over, and call it a day.
Yeah, Wembanyama's going to take like 2 or 3 years. I'm ready to win now.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
What do you see now that we've talked about this depth? It sounds like you're fairly pleased about the draft. We pulled the wool over on the Wizards and got our guy.
So weird.
The Shepherd might have been a reach, but potentially could be a good player. We also traded away 8-Track. How do you feel about that?
We'll live to fight another day.
Okay. All right.
Honestly, I'm happy for Duarte.
We had a log jam at 2-3, and he wasn't going to see any minutes.
Well, I mean, there was that, and there's good evidence that he didn't play well without Sabonis. So give him back his Sabonis.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think that he's going to
play well in Sacramento.
Yeah, I think he's going to play well there. I think that's going to be a win-win. I think that's fine. I really like Duarte. He's a really good dude.
Me too. I was rooting
they're just
for him.
It wasn't working out here, so
he was also our best nickname, by the way. A-Track. And then our other best nickname was the Sauce, and O'Shea Brissett is now with. Is he in Boston?
I think so.
Yeah, he's somewhere where he's going to be useful. Yeah, I think it's in Boston. I think he's going to see some minutes because they lost Grant Williams, or they traded Grant Williams or whatever. So he might see some real minutes on a team that's vying for a championship. So shout out the Sauce.
Yeah, I'm not sure A-Track was our best nickname. It just made entirely too much sense.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Also, the Sauce makes a lot of sense too. We got our best nickname,
but not how we got there.
Right. Yeah, they have to make less sense. Yeah. Okay. So if you so we've got all this depth. You feel like the draft was all right. You feel like the offseason signings were good. And now you're saying it's just going to be a really exciting training camp to see what kind of shakes out. Carlisle's got a lot of toys to play with. Do you have a sense of what this season looks like? I mean, do you think this is a playoff team for sure? Do you think it's a play-in team? Are we done tanking? What's where are we at as far as your early season predictions? I'm sure you've kept a little bit on what's going on in the rest of the NBA and the rest of the East. Do you feel like this team is ready for the next step?
I mean, as teams in the East get better, I mean, it's just the rich getting richer. Those teams were already better than us anyway, right? If Dame lands in Miami, it doesn't really change our fortunes at all, right? I mean, it just doesn't matter that much. Prior to, halfway through last offseason, I didn't think this team was going to tank last year. And I picked us for like 40 wins or something. And then it became clear that we were going to tank. And obviously I downgraded that a lot, and that's fine. I certainly don't think we're tanking this year. I put us kind of back where we were, which is, 35. I think I was at 32, 37, 42 last year. I'd probably be at 35, 40, 45 this year. I mean, I think I absolutely think we can be an above 500 team this year with the guys that we got, and part of me thinks that's maybe low.
I like that. I like that that maybe that's low. I mean, I've just been thinking about this team. I've been ruminating on this team. I've been considering it, and I was thinking about how last year we were the 3rd seed for a while, early on in the season. And we were clearly a playoff team before Halliburton went down with an injury. I think Carlisle is a good coach. I think he's one of the few coaches that matter. I think Halliburton is a generational passer. And I think that's infectious. We just watched the Denver Nuggets win a title because their best player was a unbelievable talent, but I think also because he is a gifted passer, and when people know they're going to get the ball if they're open, people work harder. I think great passers elevate the people around them. And I think that Halliburton's going to make everybody better on this team and make everybody's job easier. And I'm starting to really believe in the chemistry. I mean, Halliburton had like half the team at Summer League. And a bunch of our second and third year guys played in Summer League, which you don't have to do. We were 2-0 when those our veterans played, and then lost when the last 3 and didn't make the Summer League playoff because we just tanked. But I'm starting to think that chemistry is a thing. I'm starting to think that we're young, and we're several years away from being a real threat to do anything as far as contending. But I'm kind of with you. I'm starting to feel real optimistic about this. I mean, we've got a ton of depth. Like, you don't even need everybody to stay healthy, and health is always a major factor in a season. I mean, 42 wins is a good pick. I mean,
yeah. I mean, on some level, the fact that the Heat can go to the finals and almost win a championship with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and I don't know, some other dudes is
eight guys
proof,
you've never heard of,
right? Is like a bunch of proof that a deep roster playing super well together, who's on a string on defense, can do really great things if they get hot at the right time. We've added some pieces that give us the at least potential to be able to play high level defense. We know we can play some offense.
Right. Well, that's the thing, right? I think we are going to be incredibly entertaining offensively. And I said this most of last year, we don't give a damn about defense, and that's why we're not going to win a lot of games. And we have to at least give a little bit of a damn on defense, or we're only going to win. You can only score so many points. You could be the Sacramento of the East if you want, score all the points, get the third seed, make the playoffs, and then not be able to defend your way out of a paper bag in the playoffs. But is that who we want to be?
Well, obviously not. We traded the guy on their team because we didn't want to be that.
Because we
gave them that.
We very clearly understood that our ceiling was going to be that if he was our best player. And God loves Sabonis, but I think you and I both love Sabonis, but I think we both decided that if he was, our ceiling was only as far as he could go defensively, and that's not what he does. He's great offensively. So if some people here can decide to play defense and pick it up, like, I think 42 wins is a very reasonable ask. I like 45. I think I'm gonna push it a little bit further. I think 48 wins would be our high.
If we get
50 wins is a lot in this league. You got to be really good for that. I don't think we're there yet.
I mean, it's possible. I'm just, because of how young the team is and because of the injury problems we've had, I would put, I wouldn't be scared of 50 if I thought that they were going to be healthy and ready to go on day one. But I'm not convinced that that's the case.
Yeah, we're not. I think the Mathurin piece is a huge piece. I think his learning curve, his ability to defend, and his ability to be a part of the Halliburton offense is gonna be bumpy. I think Jarris Walker is the perfect fit, but he's not ready to play starter minutes all the time. And I think eventually he will be our starting four, but not yet. And the top in minutes could be, tough on Miles Turner because he's having to cover a lot of blown, 4-spot coverage. So, I just think Bruce Brown's going to be really important, and I think he's going to be really useful. I think this defense does get a little bit more on a string. I just think it's going to take a while. I think if you said to me that we're playing our best basketball in February, and we look really great, after we've figured out some kinks and then kind of fall off because it's a long season and we're young, that would make sense to me. But I still think playing 500 ball is part of that. And I'd like to see us in the 6th seed and out of the play-in tournament is my goal for this season.
Yeah. No, you want to be out of the play-in tournament for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy to think that a starting lineup of Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, Bruce Brown, Jarris Walker, and Miles Turner could be potentially a top 5 defensive team in the league.
I'm with you. If
Bruce Brown's
commits,
really good. Jarris Walker's tape is crazy.
Yeah.
And
if Mathurin commits to defense, you're right. There's not a hole in that. I mean, Halliburton's your hole, and he's still longer and faster than almost everybody he's playing against.
Yeah, and as long as you're funneling towards Miles Turner,
Right, or Bruce Brown.
you're going to be just fine, right?
Yeah. Or Jarris Walker. I mean, yeah. I mean, really.
You got guys, or I mean, even Obi Toppin can block shots.
Right, exactly. He loves swinging in for a weak side block shot.
Yeah, he
right?
does.
All right. Well, you've got me feeling real good, buddy. Let's go for mid to high 40s and wins. Let's do it.
All right. Do 37, 42, 47.
Yeah,
I'll meet you there.
that's where I'm at. I like that. Let's if do we need to put down money on this?
I mean,
we both
we're kind of on
agree.
the same team here. I don't know how we bet on the same thing at the same
Vegas, I guess. What's the over under? I guess we'll figure that out in the over under pod. What's it right now?
time. I don't know. That's a good question. What do you think it is?
I assume it's 39 and a half.
Ooh, I'm going to go higher. I'll bet it's 42.
Okay.
Let's see. The lines. It's either a place to buy cocaine or get information on sports.
TheLines.com.
TheLines.com. Let's see. Sports. You were very close. I got us at 37 and a half.
Oh, okay.
So
This is an easy over. I mean,
that's-
if our middle is what do you say, 40?
37's my low.
Right.
Like
37's
that's
your
me
low.
assuming that we have injuries.
Yeah, injuries and things don't go smoothly out the gate.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if Halliburton misses the whole season,
Oh well, sure.
we'll be way under that.
But I mean, look, I don't know if we'll be way under it. Like, I mean, the Neymar is an incredible backup point guard, and he won us some games last year. And you add in Brown and Toppin and depth, and I don't think you can lose as many games as we did last year. I just don't think you can. So
Well, I don't think so either, but we lost a lot of games last year.
we lost a lot of games last year. But I think we're done doing that. I think we come out of this with, we get a Mathurin, we get a Walker, and a Halliburton, and we're just like, boom, reboot. Let's go.
I think we're going to crush it. It's going to be a fun year.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, and definitely bet the over. Take the money right now. Let's put it in because it's going to move up, right?
It's going to go up probably.
Yeah. Yeah, we should probably put the money in now. I'll Venmo you.
Well, thank you all for listening. You can find the Undebeatables at Undebeatables on Twitter, Facebook.com/TheUndebeatables, TheUndebeatables.com. There's a contact form where you can yell at us in all cap emails. You can shout out at TheUndebeatables.com. And I think there are still t-shirt
available
on our website.
Do you what kind of flack you think we're gonna get for this pod? I mean, the all caps, because we're over optimistic.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what happens when we get together, man. We need Jason around to take us down.
So, yeah, exactly. And be like, hey, let's be realistic about this. I mean,
we're total fanboys. What do you want?
we are. I did maybe I didn't talk good enough about Obi Toppin. Maybe there's some huge Obi Toppin fans out there that are gonna be like,
dude,
Colson doesn't have faith, but Harper did, so like I might get cut down for that.
I love a bargain.
Yeah, he was free.
He was free. Like, how do you get a guy that has that sort of gifts and is free?
So okay, I will say this, but before I sing us out, that you got to give a ton of praise to this front office, because we absolutely got maybe the best free agent this offseason, and we picked up another starting level player for free, and we murdered the draft, and
we murdered our first pick in the draft.
Yeah, okay, you're right. The rest of it, we killed the first one. And
But we murdered it so good that like you do get extra credit for that.
You do get
like,
extra credit.
Not only did we get our guy, but like we got him for cheaper. Stole a
yeah,
pick. Like what?
stole a pick.
What? Extra credit for sure.
We're kind of killing the offseason. Outside of like picking up, I don't know, Damian Lillard, like we did pretty good. You know,
most people who graded teams off seasons had us at A or A plus. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. We got the right people. We got them at the right price. We still have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, we still have cap space. So. We still have a lot of draft picks. Yeah,
and we got capital everywhere. So we are,
and we have a ton of depth, and so we got guys to move if we want to. So we're in a really good position right now as a franchise.
Yeah, there are some teams that would like to be where we are, including Washington, who can't tie their flipping shoes.
Charlotte,
who is being sold by Michael Jordan. Congrats, Mike, on your payday.
Detroit, are they still tanking?
I don't know. Detroit has some things.
They have talent, but I still think they're. I don't think they know what they're doing. Houston's my dark horse next year.
To
win more than 25 games.
Okay, dark horse to win more than 25. Okay,
I think that Fred Van
hot take. They won't be the worst team in the league.
I think that Fred VanVleet pickup's gonna like put some of the young kids in the right positions to score.
Yeah. Well, eventually James Harden ends up there somehow, and then that negates the Van Vliet plus.
Did you hear about the anti-flopping rule?
I did. I'm very excited about the anti-flopping rule.
So
I'm so sick of watching soccer in the form of basketball.
Yeah, so before the anti-flopping rule was that they were going to charge people money, fine. They would fine people after the game for
like $5,000 or something.
Right, and nobody cared, and then they kind of like also didn't really do it very often unless it was egregious.
Yeah,
but
it happened like pre-COVID a couple times.
Yeah. But now it actually hurts the team, right? It's a free throw and the other team gets the ball. Like I think it's actually going to hurt your team.
There's a penalty associated with it now.
Yeah. And so hopefully flopping will go down.
TJ maybe needs to calm it down just a little bit.
Well, Harden may be out of the league is what I'm thinking. Every time anybody breathes on it,
in the world.
Every time somebody breathes on him, he acts like he's being shot.
So does Embiid. That's why they're the worst team in the league to watch. I don't understand anybody who wants to watch that team.
I think that's falling apart real fast too. This is fun. I think there's a chance here to be maybe not a home court advantage, but I definitely think a top 6 team. I think there's some teams that are going to crumble here. I think the East is wide open.
I think the Bucks are going to be on a crazy mission.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since they won a title, so.
Yeah, well.
That was only a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I guess they could probably redo that if they wanted
Last
to.
year did not go very well in the playoffs. And Giannis is very good at basketball.
Quick shout out to Undefeated, which was is the Apple Plus documentary about Steph Curry, and basically his run with Davidson to get to the Elite Eight. It was fun to relive that. I was living in Raleigh at the time, and their first 2 rounds were in Raleigh, and the entire city was electric, and kind of this who is this kid and who is this team, this no-name conference, no-name Division I school. It was really fun to relive that, and they interweave it with his 2022 championship, sort of the underdog championship is how they kind of, even though they had already won 3 titles, but no one expected him to win that one, and it's really well done. There's a great shot of his college team all raising their hands, right before before they go out on the court, and then it cuts into all the NBA guys doing the same thing. Like there's some fun stuff like that, so I recommend. It's an easy watch, and I might shed a few tears for Steph Curry as a small child being picked on.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Yeah, his life is so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a hole-in-one this week. As if
I saw that.
if his life was not yet charmed enough.
He can't miss anything, apparently.
No. Even at 170 yards, he's deadly.
We thought he was only good from 40 feet, but apparently 70 yards. For the architect, Donnie Walsh, who I'm sure had a hand in this offseason and would be very proud, if not, of Buchanan and Pritchard. And our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Leonard. Turn out the lights, the party's over.
Very nice. Friend of the show, Nico, sent me a text yesterday. Have you ever looked at the Bulls logo upside down before?
I was just sent this by a Bulls friend of mine from work.
I don't know how I haven't seen this before.
I don't know how I haven't seen it either. It's so great.
It's hilarious. I think described I think Nico described it as
crab.
a robot hitting a crab.
Robot having sex with a crab.
I think it looks a little bit more like an alien than a robot, but you know, either way, you can't unsee it.
You really can't, and it makes me. What I love about hating the Bulls is I have a new way to hate them. It's great.
I don't understand how they allowed this to happen.
I mean, I suppose. I mean, that's what the internet's amazing, right? Like somebody just came across this thing and then figured it out and then sent it out, and the entire world sees it now.
But how has nobody seen it before?
Yeah, but maybe they did, but they didn't have enough people to
Maybe
tell.
they thought it was hilarious. Maybe the people who were making the Bulls logo didn't actually like the team very much.
Yeah. So if you're out there listening to the show, go look up. Is it on Twitter or Instagram, or maybe
you
just pick
Google
up the Bulls logo and then
upside down.
Upside down, and just
The
flip
internet
your
will
screen.
do things for you. Yeah,
The internet does do a lot of things for you, which is
does
nice.
all kinds of things.
Yeah. Just to ask it nice.
Hey, you can actually be mean to it. Not sentient yet.
Siri's real angry when I get mad at her. No, she's not angry. She just stops talking to me. She's like, I don't respond to that language or whatever. She gets all saucy. Yeah.
Getting a little sassy. Yeah, that's
She
why
does.
Apple sucks. So crowned up. I can abuse my Google products as much as I want.
Yeah. Does your Google product have a name when you talk to it?
Google.
Okay. You say, hey, Google.
Yeah.
And then when you curse at it, does Google say, it's not my fault?
No, it doesn't scapegoat anybody else, generally.
Okay.
Their little AI package is called Bard. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried to
Be mean to it.
in any
You
way.
never like get stuck in a traffic jam or whatever, and you know you're trying to like talk your way out. Oh no, right? You have a fancy car that gets you around all that stuff.
Yeah, no,
It's
not that. It's that I live in Boise. I mean, they're
Oh yeah. Occasionally, I just get angry with Siri in the car when she's telling me to go the wrong way, and so I yell at her, and then she stops talking to me because I'm being mean.
yeah.
Sounds like I need to switch over to Google. They're not so namby-pamby over there.
Or maybe they just taught their machines to live with abuse from a young age. It's like not a.
God. I mean, they should get used to it. It's coming.
Yeah, humans are
Terrible.
not nice.
We're not nice people.
We're not nice.
Yeah, I just called the, Siri namby-pamby.
Yeah, and that was the nicest thing you've said to her all day. Apparently.
I don't know. Maybe namby-pamby should be one of our next Undegoogleables. I'm not sure. Maybe did I make that up, or is that got some?
I don't know. I'll name the show that first, and we'll check to see if it's a thing second.
Cheers. I'm recording.